Hear from Anita Garydne, who is Chief Executive Officer of Oneva and a proven executive building a patented enterprise-grade in-home services platform. As a serial entrepreneur with an MBA from the University of California, Berkeley, she has been described as a visionary, skilled in fundraising, collaborating, negotiating, business planning, enterprise sales, talent acquisition, and management. Oneva was awarded Best Startup in Silicon Valley 2015 by the Startup Conference and is mentored by Microsoft.
Good morning and welcome to the U.S. Black Chamber Inc.'s webinar series hosted by the Capital Pathways program and also the Millennial Entrepreneurs Redefined program. My name is Kevin Vaughn. I'm the program manager for the Capital Pathways program, and we are joined today by Ms. Anita Garydne of Oneva. She's a very successful business owner and entrepreneur, and she will share her story with us today. And also give us some insights about her keys to success. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you all to Miss Anita Garydne.
Good morning, Kevin. Thank you for allowing me to join you all this morning for the opportunity to share my story. And I have to say, I am very fortunate to be here, having really climbed on the shoulders of many who came before me to help get me here. So thank you for the opportunity to share that and hopefully motivate some other folks who are out there just like me, hustling. Entrepreneur is just a great way of saying a hustler out there, somebody trying to make it all work and build a great business. And you and I both know that within our community, there are large numbers of us engaged in just that every day. So thank you for providing an opportunity for all of us to come together to share and grow. So thanks.
Absolutely. So let's jump right into it. Anita, what inspired you to start your business, and what was the vision of the business when you initially started?
Well, to answer the first part of the question, what motivated me to start the business is I always wanted to be a big fish in a big pond. Candidly, mine is the first in our family's generation to have the opportunity to go to school, graduate from high school, and to be able to access college. So we certainly, my parents migrated from Texas to California during World War II, again, as did many families who look like ours. And so for me, having the opportunity to focus on school with parents who pushed not just me, but all 8 of their children aggressively for focus around a great education was just key to that. I got to grow up at a time watching folks like George Jefferson. He owned 7 dry cleaner stores, and he was able to live pretty well. And so I had, Fred Sanford was an entrepreneur. I grew up with role models around me. My grandfather was an entrepreneur, and it was just something that was within me to do.
What was the vision of your company when you started?
The vision for Oneva is to create a company that creates tens of thousands of great paying jobs for people who provide great care. It's about creating job ladders and growth for folks who provide care today, who tend, again, to look like me and be female, who do provide wonderful care, who deserve great pay for that, because it's a great service. It's also a hard job, and there should be opportunities for growth. It was really about my own passion growing up, as mentioned, in the city of Richmond, here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and really seeing the impact of race and economic distribution. So when I did go to college at UC Berkeley, I spent time studying economics in the Black community and came out of that experience wanting to grow large numbers of great paying jobs as a way to really lift us and large groups of people into great employment. The obvious elder care boom that's in front of us, with 10,000 baby boomers retiring every single day, creates a huge market opportunity. And the technical expertise that I was fortunate to gain throughout my career, as well as that of my co-founder and my husband of 31 years, all of that lent us to being able to create some amazing technology that really solves the problem of how do you find trusted care for your mom, for your kids, while you try and manage some semblance of life. So for us, the vision around how to move into that really formed back and just throughout my life, wanting to do something to create lots of great jobs, wanting to bring technology to solve a real problem like elder care. And in my day-to-day life, it's about keeping my parents in their home as long as they can be. And that's the goal of so many of us in the sandwich generation like me. So I'm just fortunate, again, to have the technology skills and background and the support of a corporation called Microsoft. You may have heard of them. To help bring all that together has really created some pretty awesome technology and allows for solving of a complex problem, which is how do you provide trusted care in a crazy world in which we all live.
So can you give us a little bit of the background on the assistance you received from Reverend Jesse Jackson in starting up your business?
Reverend Jackson, absolutely. All thanks goes to Rev. I had an opportunity back in 2014 to meet Reverend Jackson. I had seen he was doing some work in Silicon Valley around improving diversity, and I found a phone number on the internet and left a voicemail. And 3 months later, I heard from a gentleman by the name of Butch Wing, who runs Push Tech 2020 for Reverend Jackson, and was invited to a few meetings. And as a result of that, ended up presenting the Oneva concept and the technology platform to HP. And I mean, Reverend had us present to all of Meg Whitman's direct reports. The next day, we presented with Reverend Jackson's guidance and direct support to George Zinn and Gwen Houston of Microsoft. And then we presented to the direct reports of BK at Intel. So it was because of Reverend Jackson, who worked with Microsoft to create a very spectacular day on December 10th, 2014, in which Oneva and a number of other companies were able to gain exposure to titans in the industry. And it is a direct result of Reverend Jackson's contribution into the ecosystem that we landed Microsoft as a customer. So we remain grateful for his support and guidance and that of Butch Wing as we've grown. That occurred back in December 2014, and they've stuck with us and provided guidance and helped us as we've continued to grow. Rev always makes sure when you attend his event, you get a great chicken meal. And if you're lucky, he's holding a pitch contest because we won some cash and an HP computer as a result. So, he brings it. I've gotten investors as a direct result of Reverend Jackson. So he truly brings his all and his team to not only making Oneva successful, but to making significant change in the ecosystem.
So with our program, our primary focus is access to capital. Can you speak a little bit on how you finance your business to start off?
Absolutely. It has been a struggle. And again, for many folks, females of color in particular, and I'm talking Black and brown in this moment, fundraising is an absolute challenge for every entrepreneur, particularly difficult for folks who look like me. I can say from an institutional investment standpoint, I was very fortunate to receive a $10,000 zero interest 3-year loan from Kiva. And Kiva is an absolutely fantastic organization. And I would encourage any entrepreneur who would benefit from a $10,000 0% interest loan to pursue that. And I know folks may say 10,000 is or isn't a lot of money, but I can tell you it made a difference and it saved my business in the moment I needed it. And I've met other entrepreneurs who benefit from that. So certainly Kiva is a great place. But beyond that, I've relied on networking. I'm still in the phase, though I've raised 1.1 million. I believe I'm about the 11th to 15th African-American female to do so. But I've raised my money primarily from what we call friends and family. A lot of folks aren't really my friends and family. I just hustle. I get out. I meet folks. As I mentioned, thanks to Reverend Jackson, I got to meet a gentleman by the name of Thurman White. And Thurman White is CEO of his own company, and he's been able to make significant investment into Oneva. He also brings guidance as an advisor, and I'm very fortunate to have his support. Michael Ross out of Atlanta, similar role and function. So I've been able to find a number of truly amazing individuals to step up. Even my law firm of Wilson Sonsini, WSGR, they've invested in Oneva, and we owe them a lot of money. So we are very fortunate, just to have some amazing folks that we've met through networking who share the vision. They dig the passion, and they write checks. Alan T. Young, Chris Ye, I can just keep going down the list, but we've built our business $5,000 at a time, although we do like bigger checks. But, it's about getting out there and hustling every day to make it work. So I have been raising since January 2015 as well. So let's be clear, this has taken some time to get to this point. And in all candor, the big change occurred when Microsoft entered. That they have mentored us since December 2014 is something that we finally are able to share. And that's because our technology is in production, and Microsoft employees in the San Francisco Bay Area are receiving massages, elder care, babysitting, and other services directly from our platform right now. So once that occurred into spring, Microsoft was able to come out and say our technology is in production and validated it as awesome. And let's face it, Microsoft knows a little bit about developing innovative tech and rolling that out into the marketplace. So we are truly honored to have had their support for this past 2 years to build technology that is truly enterprise grade, which means it's never existed in the market in the in-home care space. So we've built something that's innovative, and with Microsoft's participation and their ability to go public, it's really made a difference in our fundraising. So again, all hats to Microsoft, Fred Till, General Manager of Benefits, and Fernando Hernandez, Procurement Director. Fernando actively joins investor meetings with me because Microsoft is so supportive of us, has seen the technology, and understands that we are selling into a $3 trillion market. And that was $3 trillion market that we are selling into. And to have Microsoft assign Fernando to attend investor meetings as a way to add credibility to Oneva and to me is more than I could have ever hoped for. So we truly have a partner, a mentor, a customer, and Microsoft that is beyond what this entrepreneur could have hoped for. And again, as you pointed out, this all came from my leaving a voicemail on a phone number that I saw on the internet to find Reverend Jackson. So it certainly speaks to how amazing God is, but it also says get out there and hustle and keep working, and you never know where those seeds are going to grow into massive oak trees as occurred here.
Wonderful. So I want to first congratulate you on all the money you've raised so far. And I think we all understand how important having a good pitch is when it comes to raising money. And I know you are in Silicon Valley with a lot of tech companies. Can you give us a little bit of information and insight on conducting a successful pitch when trying to raise money?
Absolutely. Boy, you absolutely nailed it. It's all about the pitch, and it's all about the pitch deck. I'll say I've gotten lots of feedback about my pitch deck, and it is truly a factor. But as are all things, it's about everything that you bring with that pitch. It's how you show up, and showing up confident, ready to win. And, all money ain't good money, right? I have an advisor by the name of Miss Elizabeth Creer Johnson, who's run a beauty shop here in Oakland for over 50 years. And one of her lessons is sometimes you have to tell somebody to get out of your chair. And sometimes you have to tell somebody, even if they come to you with a check, that they need to move out of your chair. And it's hard to do, especially when you're hungry and your belly's grumbling. But, stay true to yourself, stay focused on the right set of goals, and those planks will appear directly in front of you. Now, I got so excited with that answer, I absolutely forgot the question. So you're going to have to ask me again.
No worries. We talked about pitch.
The pitch. Oh, the pitch. You got to be quick. There are different types of pitch. You got to have that elevator pitch ready where you have that 1 minute where you just say, this is what you do, and you bring it. Only Uber is a technology platform. They send out cars with the Oneva platform. I can send out any service you want, but right now, FBI background check, elder care, infant care, and it's all provided as a voluntary employer benefit. So I can pretty quickly say what I send out, what my technology does in about 1 minute. And the listener has some idea as to what I do. That's enough for them to say, I want to hear more or I don't. Again, paying attention to body language and everything. And short of a no, you keep steamrolling, right? You have different pitches that you may give in public. I do a lot of public pitching and have since 2014. Very honored to have won Best Startup Silicon Valley in a pitching contest, beating out over 100 companies in June 2015. In that environment, you'll have anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes to pitch. And again, it's all about getting that message out there. What is it you got? What's the problem? How do you solve it? What makes you distinctive? Who's on your team? How big is the market you're going after? And be real clear about what it is you're asking for. You want money? How much? What are the terms? Is it a convertible note? You just get it out there. And again, practice is good. Having a great pitch deck is good. But that's the type of approach to have if you're in a public pitch forum. And I encourage every entrepreneur to pitch publicly and for free at every opportunity. Because that's how you not only grow as a speaker, but you learn about every other startup in your space, because those judges will say, hey, I heard a company in your space and they do this. And you learn to adjust your business plan so that you always stay the best in the market. So my point here is you gain more than just the potential to meet an angel who may invest in you. When I pitch publicly at VC Task Force, I met June Riley. June Riley is an Oneva advisor. She's an African-American female who has been in Silicon Valley leading these pitch competitions for at least 15 years. And she helped make me better. She taught me how to communicate myself better. And she introduced me to Alan T. Young. So it's awesome to have somebody as an investor and advisor who's IPO'd 4 or 5 companies like Alan. So that came from attending one of those pitches. And I think it cost me maybe $50. And I've gotten so much from it. So public pitching is awesome. And then lastly, there's that pitching you do face to face when you finally get that investor and you're at a table at a coffee shop or wherever you may be. The deck may be slightly different, but in that it's still the same points. What is it that you're producing? You know, what's your market? How are you going to make money? How do they get their money back? You know, what are you looking for? So that clarity is really good. But it's all about finding that great opportunity to share your vision, to sell yourself. As an early stage investor, they're investing in the entrepreneur. Because let's face it, it's a crapshoot. Even at having raised $1 million, you know, we're confident we're going to be successful. You know, my co-founder, Bob Gardyne, and I were fortunate to have come from corporate careers in which we have led multi-billion dollar entities and designed, you know, significant platforms and multiple exits. His last at $3.25 billion. So we realize that we present as unique individuals in that regard because we've prepared for this moment. But, you know, lightning strikes in a bottle. As a people, we also know that greatness comes in many forms and you never know who or when that great idea is going to show up. And some young person or some person, you know, who maybe didn't have the opportunity and benefit to go to college as we did. So it's about being open and receptive to great ideas, recognizing they come in every form imaginable. And those are the lessons that Reverend Jackson and Gwen Houston from Microsoft and George Zinn from Microsoft and Fred Thiel from Microsoft really want to share with the world, right? And that is that great ideas come in many forms and deserve and warrant attention, and that we can change the world when given the opportunity. And for that, I am very grateful to Microsoft, Reverend Jackson, so many organizations who have also provided awesome support and for free. I'm a huge fan of free, you know, to move us to this point. Folks like Circular Bee, Hello Alice in Houston, amazing organization, you know, and other folks. I talked about VC Task Force, Push Tech 2020, Reverend Jackson, Witty, Women in Tech, truly a number of great organizations that have been out there to create an opportunity for Oneva to compete. And we thank them all as we do folks like Kat Bombino, and others who've come forward to give us an opportunity to share our message and spread a message of hope, because it is really hard out there and it's easy to be, beaten down. But remember folks like Spike Lee. I got to see She's Gotta Have It in the Grand Lake Theater when it came out. And I got to live through seeing Spike have a film nominated for an Oscar before Hollywood even acknowledged his contribution. So, I'm not the first entrepreneur, as many of you are who are listening to this, who are out there, who are working hard and doing all the right things and not necessarily receiving the recognition and the funding that we deserve. But again, to quote Rev, keep the feet moving. Every running back, as long as your feet are moving, you can get the ball across the line. So just don't stop. Kat's got a vision. She's out there driving it. Stephanie Lampkin has a vision. She's out there driving it. Asosa in New York. So keep doing what we're doing and we're going to make it happen.
Okay. So we have a few questions from our viewers. I'll start with Bo Pitzker. Can you share a rejection story and how you handle it?
Oh, I get lots of those. I get lots of rejections. It depends on how they come, right? We all get to, sometimes encounter, idiots, right? Sometimes we get to encounter people who aren't respectful and who don't treat me with the respect and dignity that I deserve as an African-American female, as a woman, as a human being. And at times you have to respond. And sometimes that rejection can come from all the absolutely right reasons. They don't like my market. They don't like me. They don't like my idea. So my reaction really depends on where that space comes from. If it's something hugely negative and emotional, I got to sort of pull away for a minute and get that right in my mind. And I say that because we all know what the real world is like. Again, the audience with whom I'm speaking, women, people of color, vets, disabled, LGBTQ, even white guys can be treated differently and unfairly. So it's something that we all have experience with. When that happens, it's a little bit harder. And it happens to me as much as many. Sarah Kuntz, one of our hidden figures, recently came out and shared her story about her experience at 500 startups. It's not unique. Sadly to say, right, we've got some things that we are making changes about in Silicon Valley, and I'm very happy to be a part of how to make those things better. In terms of other kinds of rejection, when you get those, it's you take it and you keep going, right? But you keep going until you get a no. And again, remember that no comes from both sides. There's never any money that's worth having so bad that it's worth dignity, self-respect, or, over pursuing. But you get the no even from somebody that you really had hoped would come in, and you just, you take it and you go to the next guy, gal, or whoever, and until you get the yes. So a lot of rejection comes with the job. And I can honestly say they did not cover that at Haas when I was in B school. So, it's about developing that Teflon skin. And, I'm getting the no's not only from investors, but I've also got to sell to other enterprises. I mean, again, how awesome is it that we have Microsoft as our first employee? We are truly honored that we are engaging with Oracle as we enter their program. And we are excited about that opportunity to work with them in their pilot program. We're also looking for other enterprise customers. So in this moment, I get to go out and I'm looking for only yeses. So as everybody hears this, but it's something you've got to be ready to handle. Every company may not be ready to give their employees FBI background checked house cleaning. Microsoft is. It's awesome. I wish my company did. Hey, wait a minute, I'm CEO, we can. I think it's awesome what they do, but I need to get out and find some other companies who are like-minded and forward-thinking, who value their employees. Because at the end of the day, what Microsoft wants is to give their employees time and balance. And how awesome that we bring the technology to that solution that really solves how do you get trusted care to those who need it most, and provide it by those who do a great job and deserve fair pay, awesome wages in the work, and safe environments.
Okay. Perfect segue to our next question. So Lisa LaMagna asked, can you expand a little bit on your Microsoft relationship? Are they an investor, a customer? Do they have networking? What's that relationship?
Absolutely. As mentioned, I was introduced into Microsoft on December 10th, 2014, thanks to Reverend Jackson. I met George Zinn, treasurer, and Gwen Houston, who is their diversity and inclusion general manager and vice president. And the moment in which I was pitching George to share Oneva, the platform that we wanted to build, I was actually also pitching him to invest. I confess. It was my co-founder and CEO who was focused on the business. On my left was Thurman White, who I mentioned had come in as a repeat Oneva investor. But in that moment, I was pitching. And I just remember Thurman finally giving up and letting me pitch to George and saying, someday I may need to invest in you myself. So I really thank that brother for following through. But that's how I got to meet George Zinn and Gwen. And they took that package back to Redmond and gave it to a gentleman by the name of Fred Till, who's the general manager of benefits. And Fred just is absolutely awesome. Around June 2015, I won Best Startup Silicon Valley, as I mentioned, and beating out over 100 companies. At that point, I had a Fortune 20 company approach me, remind me the value of my minority certification, which is absolutely huge and the most important lesson I can share today. My WRM SDC certification has been instrumental to my access to Microsoft and other companies and other benefits that come with that. But as a direct result of that relationship, I had worked with a Fortune 20 company who came to me and asked us to onboard over 100,000 of their employees onto an enterprise-grade version of our technology platform. In that moment, we decided to exit the consumer in-home services market and refocus our effort on building an enterprise-grade version of an in-home services technology platform. In that moment, I reached out to Fred Till at Microsoft and started to share our thoughts around the technology platform we were going to design. And Fred responded by sharing his pain points, offering his insight and vision around how he saw the future of the benefits market. And together, along with Bob Gardyne, our technologist and architect, we started to refine what we were already designing in the Oneva 3.0 platform. And keep in mind, we were operating the Oneva 2.0 version of our platform in market in the consumer space as this occurred. So since June 2015, Fred Till and his team, Fernando Hernandez, have worked with us literally shoulder to shoulder, day to day, to help us design and build an innovative technology platform. There is none like it that exists in the world. It is disruptive in that regard. It is the first three-way marketplace that we've crafted. Again, Uber is a two-way marketplace with a buyer and a seller, as is eBay. We've introduced the world's first three-way marketplace where I sell into the enterprise, Microsoft. I also sell directly to their employees. And then I also sell to the workers, because at Oneva, it's about creating a great, safe experience with a career ladder for those workers. So we've used those 2 years to operate our 24/7 care business while working with Fred Till and his team at Microsoft to rebuild the Oneva 3.0 platform has allowed us to create something that's distinctive, customized, and truly unique in what it brings to the market. So there are other elements in our stack that are innovative and unique that I'm simply not going to discuss. But I will say we have an additional patent that we're about to file that we are also excited about. And Oneva as a company brings so much more than our platform and wonderful in-home services. For us, it's about the tech. And that's what Microsoft brings. At the end of the day, Fred shared pain points. Fred shared high standards. When we talk about what does it take to service Microsoft as a supplier, they handed us the book, security, privacy, and accessibility standards that any supplier must meet. And it's about this big. So what Fred does is Fred's about clear standards. You own the experience. To be a Microsoft supplier, you have to meet and exceed the set of expectations in regards to your technology, in regards to your accessibility, and in regards to your service delivery. So Microsoft stands shoulder to shoulder and with us as discussed, from designing the tech and processes to being in front of investors and potential next customers even, because they have seen the technology, know it's in production, know it's awesome, and can say to an Oracle and the next couple customers, this technology really works and this company can deliver. So Microsoft has been absolutely amazing and fantastic. They have not written a check. Absolutely. They do have Microsoft Ventures as a completely separate entity, and we have pitched into that entity. I've probably pitched into, I don't know, at least 150, 200 VCs and others and gotten lots of no's, which goes back to that question of, how do you handle the rejection? You keep moving. And I got a great company, a customer and mentor in Microsoft who keeps moving with me. And, we're still here. The technology is nearing completion, which means that we are ready to go out and bring value to other companies who want to make their employees know how special they are.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, and before we go, if you could leave us with a few keys to success that you would share with your fellow entrepreneurs and small business owners who are looking to scale and grow.
Awesome. The biggest lesson really is going to be about tenacity, right? I'm back to that running back. I'm also a huge football fan. I'm so lucky I got to grow up back in, I was born in 62, right? So I got to grow up when Madden was our coach here in Oakland. And it's really about being that great running back. As long as your feet are moving, you got a shot to get the ball over the line. Just don't stop, don't give up. When you've got that vision of what it is you want to build, Stephanie Lamkin knows what it is she's building. She knows she has traction. She knows at Blendor that she has companies who are paying her money, enterprise, and she's going to keep working that until she finds somebody who's going to write her that check. So it's all about tenacity, and it's all about, bringing the best that you have and innovative solutions. There are lots of folks like Kelly with her purple folder out in Texas, who's bringing innovative solutions to the elder space. So you got some folks out there, supported by folks like Hello Alice and the folks out at Dwin who are making it happen. And, I just look at them as role models and hidden figures and say, I can keep going because I know they're going. And as I mentioned before, look at folks like Spike Lee, look at Oprah. We know that folks have had to work really hard to demonstrate their contribution, their value, and their work long past a point where sometimes we say we would think mainstream society might notice. But that's okay. And what is awesome for me and has always been awesome is I truly thank you at the U.S. Black Chamber for noticing me and Oneva, for acknowledging me, for allowing this platform to share my story, because there are so many other folks just like me. So I truly thank you for this opportunity. And I'll say for me as an entrepreneur, as I sit before you, it's through the support of organizations like the NAACP in Richmond, which gave me my first plane ride was to go to present in the science conference in high school that they have, AXO competition. So I've just been fortunate to have groups who supported me for college, were Black sororities who gave me scholarships at $500 increments. But they made such a huge difference. $1,000 scholarship I got from the San Francisco Black MBAs helped me get through Haas Business School. So I want to use this moment to thank the community who's been truly warm to me and my family for my entire lifetime. And I thank you again for this opportunity to share the story of success and hope, because there are so many great entrepreneurs out there who look like me, who are changing the world. And I got to say, I am not the only one that Microsoft has in store. So I hope everybody who can hear this, pursue those minority certifications. They give you access to companies like Microsoft, Oracle, Intel, up close and personal in small rooms where you can share your ideas and you can share your goals. And you never know. Look at the match we found. And we are building a unicorn, which is $1 billion plus company, all because, Butch Wing responded to a voicemail. So keep it moving, keep working every angle, and you never know which is going to be the button that pays off for you. But don't stop, because each one of us holds greatness within. So thank you so much for the time. Thank you for allowing me to share. And I really appreciate the opportunity. So keep fighting all those gladiators.
Absolutely. So I'd like to thank Anita for all that she has done in the small business and entrepreneurship space. If anyone would like to reach out to her, you can find her. I'm going to put her website here in the chat box, oneva.com. Also, make sure you keep in contact with the Capital Pathways program, www.capitalpathways.com, and also our Millennial Entrepreneurs Redefined .org. I'll also put that in the chat box. Again, thank you so much for joining us today, and stay tuned. Thanks, Anita.
Thank you for having me. All right.